This episode of Around the Oval is brought to you by Todd Pennington with Revolution Mortgage. Hey, Ohio State fans, Alex Gleitman of BuckeyeScoop.com back with another edition of Around the Oval brought to you by Todd Pennington with Revolution Mortgage. This week, we have another special guest with us, class of 2021 tight end from Montgomery Bell Academy in Nashville, Tennessee, Zak Herbstreit, who is committed to Ohio State as a preferred walk-on. Yes, you heard me correctly. That last name was Herbstreit, son of Kirk Herbstreit. Obviously ESPN commentator, former Ohio State captain and quarterback. Zak, thanks for joining the show. Really appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And, congrats on your commitment to Ohio State. It's crazy for me. You're making me feel old because, I'm not that old. I'm turning 34 next week. I remember you must have been probably like 2 or 3. Like it must have been maybe the 06 Michigan game, College Gameday in Columbus. I was in school and you and your siblings were like came onto the stage. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember that. You were
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
little. So
Yes, sir.
that's the last time I saw your face. And now, whatever it is, 17, 18 years later, you're here as an Ohio State commit. It makes me feel old, but congratulations on your commitment and had to be pretty exciting for you and the family.
Yes, sir. For sure. Definitely great.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, you're what I looked at your 24/7 sports profile. You're 6'2", around 220 pounds or so, 215, 220, tight end. I'm sure, as a football player, you had a few options, whether it was going to play scholarship or preferred walk on, but you chose to go to Ohio State. I mean, obviously, you have the family legacy there, but your brothers are walk ons at Clemson. So what made you decide to go to Ohio State?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, honestly, I feel like the culture at Ohio State really kind of drove me there. I've been a lifelong fan all my life, to Ohio State, and I kind of know what it takes to be a player there. At least in my opinion, I do. And, I just saw myself fitting in well there. Great coaches, love Coach Day, Coach Wilson, really, really encouraging to me. And, they were kind of one of the first schools to kind of reach out to me and recruit me when I was a junior. So yeah, that definitely caught my attention.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about the process because it's unique for a preferred walk on. I mean, look, you still go through a process. There's a vetting process of can this guy help us, whether it's on scout team, eventually become someone who contributes. I mean, there's a lot of guys. Mitch Rossi's a Nashville kid who's a walk on tight end who plays every single game for the Buckeyes. And there have been a number of others. CJ Saunders recently at wide receiver was a team captain, former walk on. So it's not just, we'll just take any kid and maybe because his last name's Herbstreit. I mean, tell us a little bit about the process. You mentioned they've recruited you for almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
Who have you been talking to there? How did they get in touch? How did this opportunity come about for you?
So honestly, it just kind of came out of the blue a little bit. Coach Pantoni, recruiting like coordinator, he reached out to me and we started a relationship there, and then he kind of gave me Coach Wilson's number, and then Coach Day reached out to me as well, around the same time as Coach Wilson. So it was early kind of junior season, and they just kind of stayed in touch with me, just making sure I was doing well and stuff. And yeah, it kind of really stuck with me, especially me being like a diehard Ohio State fan. I'm just kind of like, wow, this is crazy. Like, can't believe this right now. Yeah, but it was awesome.
Yeah, and there's walk-ons are different. Some guys are just I'm going to go there, I'm going to get my degree, I'm going to, I'm just going to be a practice squad guy my whole life and that's what I want to do, right? I don't want to do anything more. Some guys come in and they're like, I'm going to play. I'm going to start for Ohio State. Like I'm going to go the Rudy route or, go the CJ Saunders route, right? And then some guys like Coach Meyer's son, Nate, I mean, he was like playing baseball at Cincinnati. He said, I'm going to walk on the football team because I want to be a coach one day and I want to learn, from a player's perspective, what I like, what I don't like from coaches and things like that. So for you, I mean, what are your goals as a player at Ohio State?
Uh, so right now, I honestly, I think I want to get into coaching when I'm done playing. I just really want to learn, especially Jeremy Ruckert's coming back, so I'm really excited to learn from him, and especially all the older guys. I'm really excited to learn from them, and they just bring so much just talent. So yeah, excited to learn from them, and yeah.
Awesome. And, as a player, last thing about Ohio State and you as a player, like, give us a little bit of breakdown of your game. Like, what are the things you feel you do well? What are some of the things you want to work on when you get into Coach Wilson's room?
So in high school, my team, we were huge in running ball. So I feel like I'm a pretty good blocker. I feel like route running, I could definitely get a little bit better at. And I know Ohio State's huge and utilizing tight ends extremely well. And yeah, so definitely my blocking game is more, I feel like, ahead of my route running.
Got it. Well, I mean, I think that's good at Ohio State. They use a lot of 12 personnel and, blocking tight ends are certainly important, not only now, but, over time at Ohio State, as you probably know. Before we jump into something else, I want to talk about Ohio State season this year. I mean, obviously, I know as a fan, you were watching really closely. I know your dad also did both of their college football playoff games.
Yeah.
One from home, actually, which had to be quite interesting.
Interesting.
But it was unique for you because the semifinal game against Clemson, now back-to-back years, you're sitting there as an Ohio State fan, and now this year as an Ohio State commit, but your brothers are on the other side playing for Clemson. So tell me, were you rooting for Ohio State? Were you rooting for your brothers? Like, how does that work?
So yeah, I was big on Ohio State there. I gave my brothers some grief before game. It's all love. It really is. But it comes down to it, Ohio State hits it hard, so I had to go with the Buckeyes. I love my brothers, but you
gotta, if they play, I'm sure you want them to do well and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
you got to stay loyal though.
And like, look, even if the Buckeyes lost like they did last year, it's kind of silver lining. It's like, okay, they lost, that sucks.
Win-win situation. Yes, sir.
Yeah, your brothers were in the national championship last year, so that's pretty awesome. And it probably has to be pretty crazy for your dad too to do that game.
Yeah.
I mean, just obviously, I think he's really, really good at being as objective as he possibly can, whether it's his analysis or whether when he's on the air. But he's got his two sons on one team and he's got his alma mater on the other. Next year, if you guys play him again, I mean, it's two sons on different teams. Yeah, it's going to be tough for him. He might have to bow out of that one, but
yeah, no, yes, sir.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about your dad. Last thing here. I mean, your dad's Kirk Herbstreit. I mean, it was, it's had to have been fun, probably difficult at times as well. There's so many crazy fans out there, but tell us what it's like, having grown up with your dad being, if not the best in the business, one of the best in the business at his profession and being, announcing big time college football games every single Saturday night.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been a little it's been weird. That's kind of an understatement there, but growing up with it, I kind of get used to it. So everyone's kind of always like, "Hey, so isn't it weird to hear your dad on TV and stuff like that?" I'm like, I'm just kind of
your whole life
used to it. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like definitely there's some pressure also. So like people kind of feeling like I have to live up to those standards. And sometimes like that does kind of get to me sometimes, but I usually try my best to kind of steer clear, get the fans out. But yeah, it's fun. Usually it's all great. Sometimes it's bad, but it's good.
Yeah, I imagine it's been fun. I'm sure it's been a little crazy at times, but how much does it help? He has so much knowledge of the game. How much has that helped you as a player, or just going through the process of figuring out where you wanted to go to college to play football?
Substantially, for real. Yeah, he's been a huge part of my process, my recruiting process. He pulls me in when he's like prepping for games and stuff, and just saying like, "This is what a tight end is here," and like, make sure you do this on Friday nights. I'm like, awesome, yes sir, absolutely. But yeah, he's I couldn't do this without him. He's just such a blessing in my life.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing is, not only is he one of the most well-known broadcasters in college football or in all sports, but he played for Ohio State. He was a captain. He was a quarterback. Your grandpa played for Ohio State too. I mean, you're a third generation Ohio State football player. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to your family?
It means a lot, really. It's really special, especially for my grandfather being the first one there, and then to my dad, and now to me. It's almost like carrying on the torch, in a way. And I know it means a lot to not just my family, but like my cousins too. My grandmother, she's probably my biggest fan out there. She's loving it. Yeah, it means a lot to the family.
That's awesome, man. And last question I'll ask. Have a little fun. I remember when your dad was home. I know I spoke to you then when he had tested positive for COVID. I think he's okay, right? All's well there.
He's doing well, yes, sir.
Yeah, glad to hear that. And he did games from home. He did College Gameday from home.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was making his picks, I don't know if you were watching or knew about this. I'm sure you heard about it afterwards. If you weren't watching, the smoke alarm in your house, I think, went off.
Yeah.
So it's actually funny. That's happened to me when I've been recording before for as well. So I had a good laugh at that, and he had to kind of go off the air for a little bit. Was it you who caused the smoke alarm?
That was not me. No, sir. It was not me. It woke me up. That was crazy.
I was going to say, I won't make you throw anyone under the bus there in the family, but
yes, sir.
That was funny.
Not me. Yes, sir. I know.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks, Zach. Appreciate it. Congrats again on your commitment to Ohio State. I think everyone listening is going to be really excited to have you as part of the Ohio State football family, and we're looking forward to seeing you on the field this fall.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you.
This episode of Around the Oval was brought to you by Todd Pennington with Renovation Mortgage. If you've been thinking about refinancing or buying a house, check out our sponsor, Todd Pennington with Revolution Mortgage. They offer low rates for refinancing and home purchase loans, including first-time home buyer programs, down payment assistance, and cash-out home equity loans. Check out revolutionmortgage.com/tpennington.